Welcome to Life Mastery Radio with Todd Allen and Jackie Bailey, the show that dives into the science of higher consciousness with inspiring topics such as abundance, intention, health, manifestation, love, and transformation. Join Todd, Jackie, and their guests of leading authors, speakers, coaches, and entrepreneurs weekly at 10 a.m. Pacific. Learn to live a peaceful life with intentional mastery. It's all right here with stories and messages to support your well-being and most evocative dreams. Now, here's your hosts, Todd and Jackie.
Hey, it's another groovy day, and most of you know, but I'm going to tell you anyway, that's because I make it that way. I wake up in the morning, I already decide before my feet hit the ground, it's going to be a groovy day, and guess what? It all happens. Something might change, something might happen, but I always think back, I started out groovy, we can turn this around, and it's magic. It really is magic. You try it. It's also a groovy day because I get to hang out with my good friend, Jackie Bailey, and Jackie and I bring you top-selling authors, leaders, speakers, coaches, people that are on the cutting edge of their own becoming, but more than that, they're here to share that with you and push you off your edge of your own becoming. And we have a big star that's all about that today. But first, let's talk to Jackie, how's it going with Speak, Feed, Lead?
It's going. We actually have a class that begins this Friday.
I saw that on Facebook.
Yeah, grades 4 and 5. So if you know someone who knows someone who may know someone who's got a child that's between 10 and 11 years old, we've got a course for them. It could be virtual, it could be in person if you live in the local area, but it's going to really give them confidence and skill in communication, public speaking. And let me tell you what the results look like, because our guest today is very special. And one of my students, Uma, who is 10, she's been with our programs for about a year or so. She's coming with me to the Best You Expo, and she's going to give her keynote speech on stage with me Saturday night. So if you live in the LA area, you got to come to the Best You Expo and see a 10-year-old girl give an amazing speech based on her own life experience and what she's learned, and it will be amazing. So that we don't just teach skills. We actually get kids confident enough to say, I'm going to go speak on that stage in front of 25,000 people. And they do it. And it's amazing if you can think about that. So we've got a class starting this week. Get your kid on the right track, and we'll soon have them on a stage.
And how long does that class go for? And how many is it? 1 day a week, 2 days a week?
It's an hour a week for 8 weeks. And that's the first stage, but there are 11 more stages to build off of from there. So it's not just a one-time course. We start off with conversation, and we teach your kids how to have a conversation with people. We teach them the 5 rules of effective conversation, which are a life changer for them. I guarantee they will have more friends, and that the friends they have will be better and healthier relationships. They'll be better trusted. They're going to get better grades. I mean, I can guarantee that because they've learned how to communicate better just through conversation.
Yeah, look for Google Jackie Bailey, go to her webpage, go to the Life Mastery webpage. The links are all over. The return on investment that you would give a young individual this kind of opportunity. I mean, they learn to speak from their heart, they learn to communicate, and Jackie is actually training the future president of the United States. I can tell you that for sure, because you watch these kids 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, and it just blows you away. It's the coolest thing.
I get my own room in the White House someday.
as the consultant to the president.
Right. Well, let me tell you what's that before you move on, because the Voices of Women Summit is happening on March 8th. So we get back from the Best You Expo. Uma will be speaking, as well as 5 or 6 other girls that are our students, on the Voices of Women Summit, global summit celebrating International Women's Day. And so they will be speaking for 25 minutes on the subjects that they feel passionate about, and be able to share their message on these summits. So You can sponsor one of these speakers. It's $49 to sponsor one of those girls. If you go to speakfeedlead.org, and you'll find our Make a Difference tab where you can sponsor one of those young speakers for the Voices of Women Summit.
I can't keep up with you. You've just got all this stuff going on, and keep us posted. Go to speakfeedlead.org. I want to remind our listeners that today's show page is at www.lifemasterradio.com. And any links that we talk about or anything, I think all of the links for our guest are already up there. So I don't know if there's anything else much more that we could talk about that we could put a link, but you just never know. www.lifemasterradio.net, today's show page. And don't forget about our YouTube channel. If you're kicking back and you want to listen to some great material, improvement, self-empowerment, go to our YouTube channel, Life Master Radio with Todd and Jackie, and you'll find a show. There's over 300 shows there that there's something that you will enjoy. I guarantee it. Okay, let's see. Website. Jackie does a newsletter. Sign up for that newsletter too. It goes out once a week. It highlights who's been on the show, who's coming on the show, and a blog post about the show. So on top of everything else she's doing, she's just a busy lady. I'm so impressed. And now I'm going to make her even busier because I think she has an introduction for today.
I do. In fact, Bernardo is a returning guest. The last time he was here, he just had the one book out called The Question, which we focus a lot of our attention on. And now he's got a second book out. And this coming week, that's right, I have my copy too. This coming week, he's going to be putting on a tremendous, conference isn't even the biggest word for it. It's an expo. It's called the Best You Expo. It's going to be live streamed from the main stage, and I don't know, maybe 12 or 15 other stages where people are going to be speaking, including myself twice during the weekend. So he is the author, the creator of the Best You brand, the Best You Expo, the Best You TV, the Best You magazine, you name it. It's all about being the best you, and he's got it going. Bernardo Moya is an editor, author, publisher, TV producer, editor-in-chief of the Best You magazine, and CEO of NLP Life Training, the world's largest neuro-linguistic programming organization. Bernardo has been an entrepreneur for over 35 years, author, speaker, publisher, and a seminar promoter, which he's doing soon. Bernardo is the author now of a new book titled A Man Evolving, and architect behind the United Kingdom's biggest annual personal and professional development event, the Best You Expo. So it's held in London this year, now in California next weekend, and virtually all over the world. So Bernardo is a man making great inroads into changing the world for the better and making sure that each of us recognize the best part of ourselves. So welcome, Bernardo. It's wonderful to have you back.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Jackie. I've got to reduce that bio of mine. It's just too many things. Makes me feel stressed.
I'm sure there's more.
Well, it's enough. It's enough. Thank you so much. Delighted to be back. And
one thing you need to add to that is poet, because
I'm not sure if I'm a poet. I attempt to write poetry. But anyway, Jackie, before we jump in, I wanted to say that congratulations on your great work. I'd love to sponsor one of your speakers. So I don't know, I'd love to see who. But apart from that, if not, I would definitely love to give you an additional speaking slot. So if you have someone else apart from Uma that would like to come to the expo and have some stage time, they're my guests. Just give us the names and we'll put them on there. I'd love to. I love it.
Exciting. Yeah. Thank you so much. That's so generous and kind.
My pleasure.
Cool.
So Bernardo, what drives you? I mean, you've created all of these things to empower others and make others better. And so where does that drive come from? What makes you tick?
I don't know, kind of like I've always been very entrepreneurial, to be honest. I've always been my mom used to call me un soñador, which is a dreamer. She used to call me that when I was young. She said, "Oh, you're such a dreamer." Well, yes, I am, and I've always been a dreamer, and unfortunately, my mom's not with us anymore. But I don't know. I suppose I would love to have her here, kind of seeing the gigs that I put together, so she could see my dreams where they materialized to. But I've always been very entrepreneurial. I've always been one that I think I've thought out the box, always wanted to do things differently. I've been kind of a leader in the way that, you know, kind of I was a designated driver, I was a captain of the football team. So I just never wanted to be kind of like, you know, told what I can or can't do. I did have bosses, I did work for other people, and I learned many great things, but I've always wanted to be kind of my own boss and own my own destiny. So if anything, I've always just, I've dreamt big. And yeah, kind of like I always, you know, kind of knowing NLP and kind of eye accessing cues, I'm always one of those looking up to the right, looking at where kind of, you know, what can I imagine? What can I think? What can I do? So I kind of like, you know, the word leader was the word that I wasn't happy with, or the word visionary, but I'm happy with that word because I'm a very visual kind of person. So this expo that, you know, materializing or have materialized over the years, and we're coming back after 3 years with a pandemic, is something that was in my head 15 years ago, you know, kind of when I came up with the idea of the Best You brand. It was all about that, you know, kind of see what was missing in the market, and looking at that it was a very fragmented world. And I thought, there's so many great speakers, but they don't have a platform unless your name is Tony Robbins or Les Brown, you know, or Jack Canfield. And what do you do? So I always wanted to give a platform to those that didn't have that reach yet. And because, you know, there's so many great people doing so many great things. So it was always about that. But in my mind, when I visualized it, I saw, oh yeah, magazine, yes, TV, yes, an online platform, yes, live events, you know, so kind of, I've always seen it. And it's been great to kind of see it materialize and come to life. I think, I don't know what drives me, because a lot of times I question it, because I just put myself under so much pressure and so much. I
can imagine.
It's such a big challenge, I mean, like now it's just beyond. It's beyond the amount of work and everything that we got to put into this. But
it'll be worth it once it's all over with. Right now you're in the thick of it, but it'll be worth it when it's all over, and you'll think, and
and I love it, and
the lives you affected.
I love it, and I do that, and that's what happened, Jackie, is when I've done this over the years, then kind of like, you know, why do I do it? Then when I walk through the halls and I see kind of how many lives we touch and the energy in the room, then I thought, okay, this is why I do it. This is why I do it. Yeah.
Well, so were your parents entrepreneurial, or was there someone that you were inspired by? Did you have siblings that were older than you or something like that? How do you feel that you got this personality trait to be a dreamer and entrepreneurial?
I don't know. My dad wasn't actually entrepreneurial. My dad always worked for other people. He was very into food and wines, and you know, he was a head waiter in a restaurant, and you know, he catered and you know, many big parties for many millionaires, and we were brought up in a home where, you know, my mum was a cook or chef, you know, so they worked together, and so they used to be kind of the housekeepers of the homes. But kind of, you know, we always worked with very wealthy people. So as kids, you know, I was surrounded by, I don't know, the chairman of Crystal Palace football team, or the owner of this brand, or this millionaire, you know, so kind of like, you know, I was brought up with that as kids, because obviously we were just playing with him and stuff. But you know, I liked that. Ooh, I love the idea. So I was very kind of financially driven when I was younger, about, you know, doing more and achieving more and having more and being able to retire at the age of 35. Obviously that never happened. But, you know, kind of, no, the entrepreneurial aspect, I think, is something that was within me, where I wanted to, as I said, be the owner of my own destiny. Yeah.
But you haven't always had success. You've had your own failures, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because I think we talked about that a little bit the last time you were here.
Yes.
You've had some pretty down in the mud kind of experiences, right?
With my head underneath the mud. I've had very dark moments and very, very tough moments. But, you know, I was sharing that in another interview the other day, that's what marks you. That's what makes you, you know, and I think if there was any trait within me, and that's kind of what I said, I think in my last book, is I am resilient. So kind of, is even with these moments like now, Jackie, where there's so much pressure going on, I'm at my best, you know, kind of, I just shine. I love it. It's just I'm a little bit masochistic like that, where I love the challenge. Listen, you know, when there's a lot of tension, and I have been, when I've hit rock bottom many times, you know, when you're losing your house, when the bank's taking everything you have and own, and when you know, you're thinking your family might not have a home, you know, it's not fun. But, you know, kind of, I would always be looking at the outcome as where am I going, not where I'm at. You know, so that's kind of, I've never focused on the problem. I've never focused on, okay, it's happened. Okay, what's the answer? So that's my nature.
But it was
and
those experiences that drove you to the neuro-linguistic programming situation, right?
Well, it was, to be honest, I wasn't really expecting it to give me what I received. I went into that when I was still running my real estate companies, and I just found NLP extremely interesting. You know, I'd never seen anything like it. And I'd done a lot of training because I did a lot of sales and marketing training. I used to sell timeshare, so I was a pretty ruthless selling machine. But you know, kind of NLP gave me, wow, I thought this is amazing. So the first time I did NLP training in my course, I was standing in the room day 3, and I'm thinking, no, I want to do this as a living. I want to be able to become maybe an author and share this, because I love kind of this mindset idea and teaching people these skills. And in the process of so I went there for business reasons, to teach my people how to engage and connect and build better rapport and be able to be more persuasive. And all of a sudden I found a lot more than I gambled. And then because literally everything was disappearing as I became a practitioner, master practitioner trainer, this was a process of a year and a half, then the opportunity fell in my lap for me to become an NLP promoter, which I'd never done in my life. I'd never been a seminar promoter. And that's how I started working with Richard Bandler.
Wow.
Maybe for the benefit of our listeners, give us a quick overview of NLP. What is it? How does it work? What does it do?
NLP stands for neuro-linguistic programming. It's a set of techniques that, you know, Dr. Richard Bandler, John Grinder sent up many years ago, which, you know, provides people obviously kind of, you know, he's a modeler. What Richard is a modeler. So he would model, you know, patterns, and he would see, you know, what are the strategies that people implement either to fall into a limiting belief or fall out of a limiting belief, to overcome things or to not be able to pass things. So, you know, he would look at these strategies and then implement them and then create a series of techniques: neuro, head, linguistic, language, and language patterns. Very important with NLP. The meta model, the Milton model. And then obviously the programming is those set of skills that would provide you kind of like techniques which you could apply to instantly get rid of, you know, as I said, limiting beliefs, thoughts, embedded command, you know, whatever it is that you want to. And NLP is obviously used. Anyone and everyone that's in the personal development world, I think, that has a degree of knowledge of NLP would know that it's a skill that you need in order to be a good communicator, either copywriting, doctors, psychologists, coaches, you name it. Anyone and everyone is using NLP. And for me, in my very, very modest opinion, if someone doesn't have NLP skills, I know there's a number of things that are missing in kind of their toolkit, without a doubt.
Yeah,
Fascinating. So I heard you mention that you do a Best You in the UK and you're doing one in LA, but you switch those back and forth, right? You're not doing one this year in the UK and in LA, right?
No, London was obviously our home, and we grew from 2016 to 2019 from 3,000 to 14,000 attendees. The home of the Expo is London. We keep getting people asking us to go back. Obviously, we've been in hibernation for 3 years, and we've just come back. And you know, when in 2020 in March, we had 12,000 people re-register. So I came to the US to really expand the brand, to really kind of run multiple expos around the US. And eventually we'll, you know, do events in Europe too. But I've decided to continue here in LA, where we left it in 2020. This is going to be our first one and probably our only one in 2023. But in 2024, we're exploring now multiple states around the US. And I will probably be looking at going back in Europe. And one of the prospects that I'm talking to people around the world, which I started doing in 2020, is to take the Expo globally. Could we take it to India? Could we take it to Canada? Could we take it to, you know, other countries around the world? And that's something I'm very interested in exploring and finding potential partners that would want to share this mad message of taking personal professional growth all around the world.
Yeah.
My suggestion is the Caribbean.
I'm up for that, and I'll run that one.
Yeah.
Jackie will be right there with you.
I will be right there.
As long as you give me a little pina colada on the beach, I'll be there.
After the show, though, you got to wait till after the show.
Yes, after the show, there's going to be plenty of pina coladas. Absolutely.
Oh, yes. All right. So now you have a new book.
Yes.
How long has this book been in the making for you?
It was a year and a half, probably, maybe 2 years. it was a book that I started writing in a very different way. I was writing more about love, specifically with, the evolution of love and what does love mean in different cultures and religions and all sorts of things. Funny enough, I got that book, I think 80% finished. But as I was completing that book, I found that I kept on putting and writing and sharing more ideas around, a little bit more vulnerable thoughts about poetry and kind of really putting myself out there. And all of a sudden I realized I had a stronger book that meant a lot more to me than the other one. So I went with this, I went down this route. And this is a book that, kind of is very close to me because, it was in the process of after my separation from my wife, I fell in love and then I fell out of love, the loss of my mum. And, kind of some dark moments that I've had in these last 3 years as well. We've all gone through a journey, I suppose, during the pandemic where we've all kind of either reinvented ourselves or done things differently or really reevaluated life in general. And this is kind of what I try to put down. And the reason, and I was very, 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 very close to not publishing it because when I shared it with my loved ones, and some of them are exes, kind of they weren't very excited or delighted or happy about me sharing these emotions.
Right.
Quite understandably. And I've hurt a few people in the process of me publishing it, but I didn't really do it to hurt anyone. I put my hands up in the book, I confess, and I literally have some very serious disclaimers there of what the mistakes I've made as a man. But also I felt that it's important for me to share it because of who I am. I'm not no one, but I have a position where I am a seminar, I'm an event promoter, I'm the founder of The Best You, I'm a man, I am evolving, and I wanted to share these thoughts. And I thought it was important for me as a man to be able to put them out there because I feel that, relationships, couples, like I did, don't necessarily share a lot. They don't talk a lot. They don't communicate a lot. And in many cases, especially men, we might struggle with sharing our emotions. And I wanted to be brave enough to be able to put it out there to hopefully encourage other couples and men to be able to be open as well to discuss it, because male suicide is one of the biggest killers. It's a fact, and I felt that for me, I keep it, and I have kept a lot of things bottled in as far as my emotions. I never dealt with a psychiatrist when my dad passed away at the age of 15. Neither did my brother. He was 7. So kind of a lot of the stuff that I've gone through in my life has been simply by me or myself self-healing and then literally maybe with NLP, but I've never had any support. So this is how I am able to express myself, and I put it in a book.
So who is it
A book
for?
like this. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to ask, who is it for? Is it for the younger man who has the whole life of love in front of them, or is it for someone who can be inspired to change the way they're loving now? What do you think?
I hope it's for everyone. I hope it's for, maybe younger generations will laugh at my romanticism to a degree, because yes, I am a romantic guy and I love expressing my feelings, and maybe that's something that they don't want to do. But hey, listen, they'll become older. Don't worry, they'll get there. I was young once. So listen, they're not going to teach me anything. And then as far as men are concerned, I think men in general, I think it's a good one to read. Maybe they get some tips. The book with all its chapters and all the different sections it has questions at the end. I love questions. So hopefully those questions are provoking and create some actions. And then for women, I hope it's a book that attracts women, because I think maybe it's something that they can think about. Maybe they need to express their feelings more, because men and women cheat. It's not only men, but also women maybe don't express their feelings. Maybe they don't understand what a man, how they see it. So funny enough, I've got a really good friend who's actually a speaker at the Expo, Gender Policies, and her daughter, she was Kelly. I think she was just talking about Whitney. Sorry. She was talking about how her and her partner are actually reading a chapter each at the same time. And then they're sharing kind of the feedback. I thought, wow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So I love it.
That's cool. Well, since you mentioned Jen Duplessis as being part of the Expo, are there other names you can drop about who's going to be there?
Yeah, absolutely. We got some great names, great friends. Dr. Sonia Stribling, Marissa Peer, Greg Reed. Greg Reed's bringing his friends, Lee Steinberg, David Sims, Scott Duffy. We've got Bill Walsh, great sponsor. You've got yourself. We've got obviously, kind of like so many great speakers there that are all supporting us and involved in the whole process. Masajadi, David Fagan, we got Mo Roque, Los Angeles Tribune, Ken and Mary Segal, and the list goes on and kind of like, even now, Jackie, we're still getting so many inquiries. I think I've always said, and I think we're very close now, we're probably going to be around 150 speakers in total.
That's amazing. That's amazing for one weekend. That's incredible.
For one weekend, yes.
Yeah.
3 days.
Well, listen, sorry, I was just going to say that it's an event that I really encourage people to attend, because I get that there's a lot of events out there, and I completely understand, and people are overwhelmed, especially in LA. But we bring everything under one roof. There's all these different stages are themed differently, and there might be other priorities in life, but at the end of the day, the only priority we're going to have in life is to what do we leave behind? Have I developed? Am I a better human? And do I really? Am I aware of what's happening in the world and the planet? And that's kind of what the event's all about. So it is about elevating consciousness. It's about bringing more love to the world, because everyone that's involved brings love and shares love and is very inspirational, because also they come from a place of love, like yourself. You're very passionate about what you do. So I always say, look, that there's multiple things you can do. You can go shopping, you can watch on Netflix. But let me ask you, would you not rather be on Netflix? This is the type of place where you could be on Netflix and not be watching other people on Netflix. Right. I believe that there's 3 types of people: those that are giving up on life and they just want to carry on till they die, those that are looking at others doing it, and then there's those that go out and do it. We need more of the third part. We need leaders. The world needs more inspiration now than ever. There's more opportunities now than ever for all of us to come together. That's what the Best You Expo is all about.
Yeah,
and you've got 7 stages, I think, 8, or maybe
10,
you're up to
10 stages. 10 stages.
He's up to 10. Do I hear 11? Do I hear 11 going once?
Only 10. Only 10.
So what does a person have to expect? I mean, they can find just about anything. You've got personal development, professional development. The list goes on and on and on. You rattle off a bunch in the pre-show, and I want to hear those again.
Well, listen, what do you want to do? Do you want to learn how to dance tango? Come and check it out. We've got some tango dancers over there. That's how extreme we go. You want to learn some NLP? We're doing some NLP. We're doing breathing techniques. We've got obviously in the love and consciousness room, we're talking about love, we're talking about relationships, how to get rid of a narcissist. We're in the best for business, how to make money, how to find stages to speak, how to get your book published, how to become healthier.
Empowering speakers. That's one of the stages I'm on. The
empowering speakers that you're in, with all of them, and you look at the empowering speakers roster, and everyone is inspirational. Just check those titles of those talks. But best for business, passion to profit, empowering speakers, love and consciousness room, health and well-being, the empowering women room, the masters, mentors and influencers room, the main stage, the inspiration zone. We got networking area, we've got teas and coffees, we've got all sorts of things going on in there.
Yeah,
something for everyone.
Something for everyone. And if you see someone like flying left, right, and center who's on a rollerblade, that's me. That's me running up and down.
Rollerblade would be a really good idea.
I could, Jackie. You know what? My last event in Long Beach. I remember. I don't know why this time was. I've done so many of these shows, but I couldn't walk on Sunday. I literally was walking like a duck, walking out there. I'd done 16 kilometers, like 10, 12 miles in one day, every day. Multiply that by 3 days, like 36, 40 kilometers. It's a lot of walking I do. This year, I'm going to try and take it a little bit easier. Obviously, I'm hosting, I'm speaking, I'm engaging. I'm just saying hello to you. I'm saying hello to every single person that's there and hugging you all. And can't wait to be together.
Yeah. I've never been to the Los Angeles Convention Center, but I can only imagine it's tremendously huge, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Check our feed out on the 2nd, because on the 2nd we're going to be streaming the whole setup. Because people, I remember I was speaking to someone who says, "Oh, we want to go and see it." Because I went to see obviously the space before a couple of weeks ago. Right. "Oh, we want to come and see it." I said, "No, you don't understand. This is just like one big Mahusive space, completely empty. Okay, we come in the day before, we set everything up, and then we take it down. So no, it's just." It's amazing space.
Now, how is the Best You Expo different from the Love event, which you also provide at certain times?
Yeah, the Best You Expo really is about that. Is very broad, personal, professional growth in general. So you really have so many different aspects for you. The Love event is a lot more specific. It's for those people that were or are more aligned with elevating consciousness, to bringing more love to the world, to really, kind of sharing expertise around that. So the love event was something we intended to do live, and we had to do it virtually because of the pandemic again. But, we'll continue to do that event. But the essence, the juice, the secret recipe and the ingredients of the Best You Expo is love. It's all about love. It's love and consciousness. And that's what we bring. Because Jackie, you do this because you love what you do. And you know that every other speaker that is there does the same thing. People need to understand, ladies and gentlemen, it's a free ticket, okay? It's a free ticket. You have nothing to do apart from paying your transport to get there. But every single person involved is investing money to be there. Every single person, Jackie and everyone else, those 150 speakers have spent tens of thousands of dollars developing their expertise, their niche, their knowledge, their wisdom, to come and share it for you for 25 minutes for free. And they do it because they love what they do. So the juice, the energy, the essence of the Best You Expo is love. That's what it is.
That's awesome. And speaking of love, so you've got poetry in here that's a little bit spicy.
Some of it is a little bit spicy. The passion section is passionate.
Yes, but there's also some pictures. Have you drawn these pictures?
Oh God, no, Jackie. If I draw anything, I mean, the moment they open that page, they would just close it. No. Thank God I didn't. I've got some fantastic illustrators.
People, you don't just like this art. I don't know if you can see that very well, but
yes, that's beautiful. Yes.
Yeah, but you didn't do that. You're not the artist.
No, I very kind of listen. There was guidance on everything that's in there, okay, and obviously kind of like I was very involved in the whole process of, and these are all things that have been either illustrated for me or for us or for the book, and I've got 2 illustrators and they're very proud of them, very grateful to them. But yeah, it's just to summarize some of the thoughts, because there's a lot of thoughts in there, just to bring some beautiful pictures. But yeah, love has different aspects, doesn't it? There's a stage of falling in love, those butterflies, and then, oh my God, I can't wait, and then, oh my God, I can't stand her, and then you go through that page, and then you go through the rejection period, and then there's a passion period. So kind of I've tried to, and that's kind of how the book evolves. And then it ends with thoughts in my mind, where Bernardo now all of a sudden is a little bit more wise. He's illuminated by something or someone, and he's sharing his thoughts. So that's kind of what I do towards the end of the book, which is where I really want to go. I really want to focus more on writing. And I've enjoyed this process, Jackie, because this book, what was really happening to me was I was really tapping into whatever. And so instead, it was a lot of times I would think to write, and this I would just literally, when it came to, I just started writing, and all of a sudden I would write things and I think, oh my God, where did that come from? I was pretty surprised. Sometimes it wasn't that good, but normally it was amazing. Normally it was amazing. And I love this idea and concept of Liz Gilbert, Big Magic, her book. I highly recommend. I listened to the audiobook. Ideas are like entities that they come from the universe, from wherever they come, and they come and they're looking for an individual that's going to make them, who's going to create them, who's going to develop them, who's going to bring them to life. So all of a sudden, we say, we have an idea. So think of that idea comes, and then the idea is cooking in here, it's cooking in the heart, it's cooking back in the head, and then what happens? You either go and do it, you go and implement it, you go and make it happen, or if not, the idea says, I'm off. The idea goes, and all of a sudden I find someone else. And we've always found that, where all of a sudden someone comes, you hear it, oh my God, I thought of that 3 years ago. Of course you did, but you never did anything with it. Right. So, the Best You Expo, the Man Evolving, everything that I've created, everything that you guys have created are ideas that came to your mind, and why you're leaders is because you brought it to the world.
Well, I love that the title of it is A Man Evolving, but your table of contents, as you look at the titles of the chapters, it's an evolution of emotion. And I don't know if you planned that, but it's brilliant.
Well, I do hope so. Yes.
The way that you take all of the next steps of a relationship up to a point of love and passion, and then it starts the falling out, the betrayal, the rejection. And you go to the other side too. So it's not just all of the love and the happy, frilly flowers, but there's also the dark side to those relationships, and your willingness to be vulnerable, sharing your own mistakes is Well, appreciated, in fact.
Thank you. That was the intention, and you know, kind of broken heart, I think, is one of the chapters that's quite intense in there, where, you know, kind of I went through a very dark phase, and then rejection was also bad. But yes, that was the idea, and I think the end of it is thoughts in my mind is really, at the end of the day, it's all about love, and, you know, and forgiveness, and we're all part of one big collective, and whatever happened, you know, there was beautiful, pure love in any and every relationship at some point. And although there might be animosity at this time, we need to move on, because, you know, in context, these situations are completely relevant with the importance of what's happening in the planet and our stake in this being simply part of, we're all going to go back down to the earth. We're all going to be part of the universe again. So, you know, you can't take any materialistic things with you. It's just what you say while you can, while you're alive.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask if you wouldn't mind.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, because oh,
yeah, go ahead, Todd. You glitched a little bit there. So you're.
oh, I was just going to say, so to am I still oh, my internet connection is unstable. How am I doing?
You're
Am I
kind of
okay?
good. You're kind of
You're stable now. You're stable now, Todd.
Well, I was going to ask you, I mean, this takes a lot to create a book of poetry, right? And so where did you explained to us already that they just kind of, they're fleeting thoughts, they come in and out, but are these the things that you would actually sit down and write, or maybe on an airplane ride, or while you're kicking back in a hotel? What space was it that you were able to create these thoughts?
Well, so funny enough, obviously, kind of like, you know, right now I don't have time to think apart from what I'm thinking
Well,
on.
that was my whole point.
Well, no, it's true, but, you know, kind of like, on the other hand, you know, I have had some time to reflect, you know, which was that downtime that I've had, like many of us have, and this is kind of what a lot of it materialized into. But, you know, kind of part of me is, I've got different hats, and, you know, right now I've got my promoter hat on, but the hat I really enjoy, and I think it looks nice on me, at least I like it, looking at myself in the mirror, is the one where I write, where I share my thoughts, you know, because it's where I feel more connected. But it's also about that congruency, you know. I want to be a congruent human being, especially because of who I am with the best you. I can't encourage, you know, people to be divisive. I can't encourage people to kind of hate each other, to be average, you know, not take care of themselves, you know. So all these are aspects that are important to me. So writing is a really important aspect, but I don't have the time now, but when I do have, which I will have, that's where I really want to be. I want to be able to write more, and to be able to kind of like, you know, channel whatever comes to me, and expressing. A lot of times it really comes quite nicely. It comes really naturally. Kind of, I don't have any difficulty in writing. Kind of like, you know, if something's in my mind and I want to kind of start thinking about it, things will come to me, but they come to me like I was saying about Liz Gilbert. You know, she was saying, I think in a book, that, you know, there was this story about, you know, poets, you know, in their garden, you know, planting some mushrooms, planting some onions and stuff like that, and all of a sudden the idea comes over the mountain, and they're running back to their house to get their notepad to be able to start writing it down. Have you ever had that, where it was like, oh my god, I need to write this down?
Yeah.
So that's how it comes to me. But funny enough, you're saying, Todd, I've always been, and this is not recently, I've always been tremendously creative on a plane. I don't know why, what happens, because I'm closer to the skies, whatever. But I've had this time, I suppose, because there's no interruptions, no internet, nothing, and I've just go, what am I doing? But creativity, I tend to write a lot. And I've got this silly idea, you know, in NLP, there's so many techniques, but one of them is the timeline, you know. So with timelines, you normally, we all see the timeline ahead of us and in front of us and ahead of us, or whatever, or in front of us. But, you know, kind of like, there's a very cool way of like, you know, if you look at your timeline and it's here, well, how different is it if you just put your head there? So like now, if my timeline, my present is here, how different is it if I put my head there? Now, all of a sudden, I'm just listening to a few sentences, but now I'm looking into the future. So every time I've written, I've simply just stepped forward a little bit instead of going back. And by simply that silly movement, it's all, you know, it's all neuroscience. And then all of a sudden my body, and I would write. So no, but I love the flow. I love, and yes, and one of the things that I've learned to do is not to correct anything. When you're in the flow, don't correct anything. I'm dyslexic. I type terribly, and then my autocorrect doesn't help me either. So I just write, and sometimes, yes, I go and revisit it, and I understand kind of what I was trying to say or what I was writing down, and then I correct it, because the flow comes, and when the flow comes, just let it go.
Oh.
And I love
So
that.
when you're writing, then you say it happens a lot on the plane. So do you write longhand, or do you have a laptop or some sort of device with you that you're typing?
I tend to write if I can. If not, I just write on my phone. But a lot of the times I might do voice messages. But sometimes, as long as, if I'm flowing and I'm a quick typewriter, then I just write it down. But if not, I write it on my phone. And in worst case scenario, if I'm stuck, I do the voice memos or send myself a message, and then I listen to it afterwards.
Wow, that in itself is discipline to just say, oh, inspiration's coming. Got to get it down somehow, right?
Yeah. Stop.
That's good. Todd, were you going to say something?
Oh, no, I was just, that was fascinating for me because, I'm aware that handwriting things helps with that flow, but you seem to have overcome that and just been able to type it.
Well, you know what? It's because my mum used to say to me, a friend of mine used to say, don't write to me. Don't write to me. My mum used to say also, you should be a doctor. My handwriting is terrible. So luckily, when keyboards came out, my dad, he put me onto learning how to type when I was 12 or 13. So kind of, I tend to type quite quickly. So, and also I type a lot faster than I would be able to kind of write. But yeah, no, listen, I think that, and going back to what you were saying, Todd, although a lot of it started as kind of poetries and thoughts, and I don't consider myself a poet. I'm just saying they're thoughts. A lot of them, some of them do rhyme, but a lot of them are thoughts. And yes, some of them might rhyme, but what was important to me was to put them in context. That's why each chapter is to, so have you gone through that phase where all of a sudden you feel someone, you love it? So I'm trying to explain the process where we probably all are or have been at some point. And then I come up with some of ideas. So then I combine them all. So there's a conscious explanation, and then there's the unconscious explanation, which is kind of the thoughts and poems, which kind of like probably connect more. So with NLP, and in general, there's so much that we learn consciously, but there's so much more that we know unconsciously. So I try to explain them both, because I thought that was something. Sometimes that's something's missing. Sometimes people teach you things, but they don't teach you why they're teaching you those things. So it's kind of important to put that down.
Or even the universe sends you messages and lessons, and you don't necessarily know what that is unless you stop and reflect and say, something like, what am I to know here? And then, the gears start turning.
You're so on point, Todd, because I say that as well. I think, first of all, I always say that the universe, God, whatever it is, the higher spirit, they don't use Instagram or WhatsApp or Messenger. They don't communicate to you that way. They communicate to you by sending you messages that come through people, a word, a book.
Or
someone's listening to this today for some reason, and there's a message here. Are you willing to listen to it? Are you willing to implement it? Are you willing to take action? And I also say that there's opportunities sometimes are the size of petrol tankers. There's a size of pyramids, that people choose to ignore them. They choose to walk around them, ignore them. But if I've learned anything, is connecting the dots. Nothing happens because of chance. So when I hear a word or a book or a message, like, dear friend of mine, Bernie Dorman from CEO of Space, he died a few years ago, very close to my heart. And I've been thinking about him a lot of time. And then all of a sudden I get a couple of emails from September. He's widow. And all of a sudden I get the 2 emails. I got the message. I had to contact her, so kind of like it's connecting those dots. That's what takes us to kind of a higher level of consciousness, of understanding why things are happening to us, not to us, for us.
Those opportunities are what's important. Right? I always like to say, you have to keep your head up, your chin up, tail out from between your legs, waggling, looking for the next opportunity, right?
That's right. Absolutely.
So would you like to share with us some of your thoughts?
Oh, what's your favorite? Do you have a favorite one?
You have some lovely words about your mother, but is there something you'd particularly like to share?
Well, my mother, kind of like, when my voice breaks up immediately, kind of like there's some sections there about, a few little poems and thoughts I wrote about her. But no, there was just some beautiful, simple things, kind of like, I touch my skin to feel you. I look into my eyes to see you. That's one of the most, lovely things I wrote, because it's true, kind of like everything I am is thanks to my mom, but there's a lot of things that are very personal to me about her, and kind of her character and how charismatic she was, and the regrets that one has, of not spending more time, with your parents. I mean, Unfortunately, I don't have them anymore. And although kind of my mum and I were very close, we deep love for each other, and kind of like, there was, because my dad passed away when he was young. He was only 54, and I kind of stepped up. But luckily, if anything good happened from me separating from my wife, which I know it was a painful process, was I got to spend a lot of time with her in kind of our last year. So kind of I tend to spend a lot of time with her, and my mum was already 80 something, but typical old mum would love to give me my breakfast, my lunch and dinner, even if I didn't want it, and made my bed and everything else. But I stayed with her obviously when I saw her. But no, I think if anything, it's just one of those things about being able to express love and say things, while you can. And anyone and everyone out there that has that opportunity, to be able to, and those are the kind of questions you would find at each of those, at the end of those chapters, who haven't you rang today? When was the last time you said to a loved one that you love them? When was the last time that they heard some kind words from you? Because it's very simple to do while you can. I can't. And that's just a very painful thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so as a visionary that I know you are, what's the next book?
Oh my God. This one's I've just given birth to this one. Funny enough, this book, because also this flow process, Todd, because I'm bilingual and I consider myself Spanish, some of the bloody messages, excuse my French, would come in Spanish. So all of a sudden I'm writing these things in Spanish. So I was, so some of them in English, some of them in Spanish. So I had to write both books at the same time. So I'm writing English ones. Okay, let's translate this now. And obviously it doesn't rhyme. So you have to give it kind of a different structure to it. So no, both books have just come out. I haven't even given, although my Spanish version is published.
Good.
It's called Un Hombre en Evolución. I haven't even been able to market or publish that or push that one. So my main focus is this one. But no, I think it's going to be more around the process of really, this next stage of evolving. And really, if anything, is more about, I've got a couple of titles I'm already working on, and I have got some tips. And
I told you, I figured.
Well, I know, because the thing is when you, if you've written a book and you have, and you kind of like, it has to end. Bernardo, listen, it doesn't matter if he's ugly. It doesn't matter. Just put some cologne on him and do his hair. Just get him out there. So, but ideas keep coming in. So then I've started piling them onto the next one, and the next one is more around kind of you. And I'm saying you, us. You have everything within you to be able to be great. And one of the things I say in the book, in order to be great, you have to do great things. You have to think of great things. So, it really is about people understanding that they are already automatically a winner. Because if you look at it and think about it, generations and generations of parents and grandparents and great-great-grandparents and great-great-great-grandparents, and you go back 10, 20, 25, 30 generations, as much as you want, for you to be here today.
Yeah.
For you. And look at that DNA and the information that's in your veins and your body and your skin. All that information is passed on for you to be here. Now, if you just look back at all those generations behind you, you can't let them down. You can't let them down. You can't use excuses to say no. So, you have a responsibility to do more, to become more. So that's what I'm going to be poking people in the eye. That's
well, it's funny you say that, because I think about it all the time. All of the things that had to occur, or all the things that have transpired for me to be here, or for you to be here, right?
Absolutely.
And you think about it, I mean, we don't need to go back that far, but the Civil War, World War I, World War II, all of those things, if something had been different, you probably wouldn't exist.
Well, if your great-great-great-granddaughter would have fallen off the horse on the way to see your great-great-great-great-grandmother,
exactly,
I'm saying, like, hey, you wouldn't be here. So kind of like, of course, and that's the thing. We were talking about chances, opportunities, things. You are here. There's so many combinations of reasons, potential opportunities, alternative, worlds, or scenarios that could have happened. But no, it didn't. It
didn't, and you're here because of it.
And what are you doing with it? What are you doing?
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, Bernardo, with all of these events that you've had and all of the wonderful, powerful, talented people that you've brought together, have you considered a compilation type book where maybe there's a theme of a specific subject, but then these people that contribute one chapter about that subject from their own perspective?
Okay,
it seems to be the thing to do today.
I love it. And yes, I mean, I've been I've got so many things that I want to do still as on my bucket list. That's definitely one of them. And because, you know, kind of if I'm blessed is anything, is I've got some great friends and people that support me, and like yourself, Jackie, you know, kind of like everyone that I couldn't do this without you, but I'm very blessed. And yes, I'd love to do that. I'm now exploring to do some masterminds with some people that I love and work with and play, you know, that I could help others as well. So, but I love that. I love that idea. And yeah, so once I get this expo out of the way, then there's going to be a little bit of downtime. Bernardo will disappear somewhere where he can inspire himself a little bit, get some more energy to come and run some of these. But yeah, I love it. I love that idea.
Are you going to stay around in Los Angeles after the expo for a while just to have some
I'll stay
fun?
for at least a month. I'll stay for at
Okay.
least a month, maybe 6
Oh,
weeks.
wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will. Because I've been invited to Greg Reed's Secret Knock. I'm hopefully going to be, well, hopefully I'm speaking there.
Yeah.
I'll be talking, and hopefully we'll be talking about how amazing the Best Expo was. Oh, Bernardo, that was amazing. Oh, yeah, I love a bit of that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me just give you the inside story of Bernardo not sleeping for a month and a half. But
That-
yeah, I'm staying.
He's a pretty cool guy. I got to hang out with Greg for a while, and it was right when he was creating that book about.
Which one of these 140 ones? Which one?
I know. It was the one that he was redoing for Napoleon Hill.
Oh,
He
yes, yes.
He was it was right around that time, and he was just fascinating guy to talk to. And
He's lovely, Greg. I can't really stand him, but I think, you know, on camera, I'm going to say that he's great.
there is that part of him, but you know, he's got some great ideas and great thoughts.
No, I love Greg, and Greg has been a great supporter. You know, there's massive respect, and actually, I'm going to mention a name which I didn't mention about the speaker's going to be speaking. There's Michelle Patterson, because she came to mind. So there's massive respect with people that run events. So kind of we both respect each other, and that's why he's doing a little mini secret knock on the Friday at the Best Expo. And you know, kind of we always felt aligned in working with each other. And I'm so honored to have Michelle Patterson, who, for those of you that don't know, you need to check her profile on the webpage. She's the lady that used to run the California Women's Conference.
Mm-hmm.
And she's been fighting cancer for 4 years. They gave her 90 days 4 years ago. And she's a beacon of light. And she's my sister, as far as I'm concerned, from another mother. And, you know, we have tremendous respect. And she's actually launching a program at the Expo, which is an open AI source for anything and everything related to cancer and solutions and everything that's out there. So that's something very close to heart. That's going to be launched at the Best Expo. So kind of like, you know, yes, those are my friends, and I would love to write some stuff together with them. Thank you so much. Thank you for that.
Awesome. So Bernardo, you've evolved. Do you have a significant other in your life right now?
I have a friend. I have a friend, but you know, kind of it's very difficult for me at this stage of my life to know what I should be doing or not. It's difficult because, you know, kind of like I would love to have a relationship. I would love to be in a relationship. I would love to have someone that would travel with me, someone that could work the nomad life and kind of like, you know, I would like them to be completely independent and obviously successful in their own business. I'm not looking, but it's difficult because for me, I don't have roots at the moment. You know, I'm a nomad. I'm a digital nomad, and I've done that on purpose because I want to be able to have the freedom to work from wherever I want to work, and have that freedom to be able to travel and explore the world, because I've already had the houses and the belongings and the storage unit and you know, lots of furniture that ties you down. I don't want that. I want to live this idea of I've got 2-3 suitcases and that's all I need. Yeah. And if I need anything, it's just memories and families and loved ones that I can spend some time with. So I don't have anyone in particular. I've got a friend. We'll see if that goes anywhere. But at the moment, I'm simply open to love in whatever way it comes.
Yeah, well, that's delightful. I'm sure it will happen if it's supposed to happen, and it'll be the right person. So we've got a few minutes left, and I'm wondering if there's one last bit of wisdom that you want to share with our audience that is either found in your book or is something that you've discovered recently that you also want to share. What would you like to say?
Well, I don't know. I'm going to just play. Let's see what the chances say. Let me just open my page here.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Well, one of them, I just opened it. It was a random page. I didn't look at it. Please trust me. Believe me. Okay. So I opened page 259. Why do some people feel so comfortable talking about their bank balance or company turnover, but are so fearful of expressing love, talking about love, or sharing love? Question mark. That's it. So I think if anything is something else that's in the book, at a time when everything seems lost and everything has a cost, love is the answer. Love is the answer to everything. So I believe that, again, love is the first step and the last step and all the steps in between to every problem that the world has right now.
Totally.
So that's it.
Yeah, we just need to find that. Oh my goodness, my friend. Thank you so much again for showing up as you and sharing your great thoughts and ideas. And I wish you the best of luck with the best you. And I take care of Jackie. She's going to
Oh, he froze. Don't know what he wants to say.
Well, she's definitely going places.
Oh,
And she's going to be at the Best You Expo. Jackie, I can't wait to see you. Please let me know about if you have someone else that you would like, apart from Uma, and we'll find a slot for her. So just drop me an email and we'll find something. But listen, congratulations on your great work.
He's going to the moon, Hold on.
Oh,
now he's coming back.
Yeah. She's
Am
going
I
to the
back?
moon. I heard your DNA. Is it going to the moon?
Oh, I was just, she's on a rocket ship and she's going places. That's for sure.
She is. But no, Jackie, congratulations. And definitely, as I said, apart from obviously providing another opportunity for some of those amazing little young talented people you're bringing in.
Well, I look forward to giving you a hug next weekend. So.
I can't wait as well, but I'd love to sponsor one of your talent through the
I
Best You.
appreciate that. I'll let you know. I'll
Thank
send
you
you
so
an
much.
email about that. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Always great questions. Please share this. I'll put it out with the community. And guys, listen, remember, come to the Best You Expo. There's nothing on Netflix you want to watch. Lots of love.
Absolutely.
Jackie's already been twisting my arm. She's like, you have to drive down there. That's about all we have time for today. I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you'll check out our YouTube channel. And please, please, please tell a friend about what a cool show Life Mastery Radio is. It's got everything that you need, just like the Best You Expo. Lastly, please, please, please make it a great day because it is all about choice. Bye-bye for now.
Bye, everyone.
Okay.
The recording.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And we'll have links. Jackie will write a blog post and I'll send you the link to the YouTube.
Brilliant. Please do. Thank you so much. Great questions as always. Thank you so much. Lovely to see you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in to Life Mastery Radio. Join Todd Allen and Jackie Bailey and their guests of leading authors, speakers, coaches, and entrepreneurs weekly at 10 a.m. Pacific. Learn to live a peaceful life with intentional mastery through stories and messages to support your well-being and most evocative dreams. Visit their website, www.lifemasteryradio.com. Join their mailing list and be notified about upcoming guests. That's lifemasteryradio.com.